Ready to tickle those temples?
Welcome to the Book Father's Temple Tickling Guides. Hey, we got this book.
It tickled our temples.
Or do they not? Because there are some really weird toddler books out there.
I'm almost more interested in the books that don't tickle temples. We have 3 criteria. Book fun? Is this book fun? That's important for a kid. And for the person reading the book 100 times.
Yes.
Second up is terrific terminology.
Is the book giving your kid more vocabulary?
Yes.
And then the third category that we're going to rate these books on are the graphics.
Are they tickling?
Are they temple tickling?
Us, your book fathers, will attempt to guide you. My first book is If I Were a Bear. Now, I am going to start with what I consider to be a terrible example of a book. Okay, so If I Were a Bear is perfectly fine. It's, I think the author is Anne Wilkinson for Jellycat, but it's not really clear who the author is. There is a Jellycat on the side of it, and it says Anne Wilkinson on the back, so I assume she wrote this. Now, I don't mean to be too harsh about this, but here's a great thing about this book. I will say this. Book fun? Yes, this is a fun book. It scores very high in the fun category, and it's one that I read with my daughter a lot. We sit down and we read If I Were a Bear, and it has this little bear thing that she plays with and a little nose. But that's my first question is, well, what is this? Is this a bear tail? Is this a bear ear? And as you go through the book, it has just 4 pages. So it's, or 1, 2, 3, it has 5 pages. So it's very short attention span, very easy. In that way, the book fun on this is actually very high. I would give it a 4, bordering on 5. My daughter can sit and participate through this whole book. This book really falls down is in terrific terminology. The terminology in this book is just very first thing. If I were a bear, what does it say? My nose would be squashy. Have you ever used the word squashy ever in your life? I don't think I've ever even said squashy.
No, I don't think I've ever seen, like, I would think squishy. I've never seen squashy.
I don't know what squashy means.
I mean, I assume it's just like squishy but moist. Like that's what I envision.
Yeah. Then my claws would be shiny. My coat would be furry. This is my daughter's favorite page. She loves my furry coat. My ears would be velvety. Velvety is a good word, but this is the problem with this is it's not age appropriate. Considering my daughter is, 10 months old, velvety is maybe too far of a leap. Right? Like you get into the toddler years and you're past these kind of books, but velvety is actually, it's a very, advanced adjective, I would say. Here's the problem. The very last page says, if I were a bear, I would live in a garden where the bees make honey all day. What is this? This is never described in this book. There's no description of bear anatomy.
Dude, it's the top of the sun. Duh.
There's a bear in a garden.
Dude,
it's
hold that up to the camera for a second so we can get a good still of that. Move it a little bit. Oh my god, dude. Like, yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
If I were a bear, I would live in a garden where the bees make honey all day. So, I mean, bees do make honey in gardens, I suppose. But, frankly, I just consider this book misleading.
Yeah.
The bear's aim is not to live in a garden. Bears live in the woods. And they love, like, berries. And, I mean,
salmon.
Bears eat honey, I guess, but I don't know, man. This book is one that every time I read it, my daughter has fun with it, so I will give it that. It gets high on the book fun, somewhere in the 4 or 5 range. The terrific terminology it's a 1. I mean, for me, it's just a 1. It's like it misses the mark on the terminology in a way that is almost detrimental to development. If you, I'll just have to, like, later on when she starts asking me questions about this, I'll have to be like, don't say squashy. Nobody knows what you mean. Yeah. And bears don't live in gardens, so just don't worry just ignore that, right? That's a bad thing for kids, is like setting them up with things that you have to later explain away because they're just inaccurate.
Yes.
especially at such a young developmental level, it causes confusion. Finally, the graphics. Actually, the graphics are cute. I will have to give it that as well. So the thing that drags this book down is not the graphics, it's not the book font, it's the terminology. And that's something that's extremely important when you're considering what's going to tickle the temples.
Are you not considering the tail, ear / sun mohawk thing in graphics?
The tail, ear, sun mohawk, yeah. When I throw that in, that actually drops the graphics to like a 2, because like there's cute little art and squashiness, but this.
Well, because okay, here I have something else for you. On that first page, I have a thought. Show that first page again. It's not super easy to read the black letters on the woods background.
Yeah.
So, I would argue that that's another kind of.
Plus, what are those trees? Like, are they covered in moss? That must be it.
Yeah.
They look like kelp. Like the bear is underwater or something. I don't know.
I think it's more about the visual, like, ease of reading for me on that one.
Good point. Thank you for adjusting my rating. That's a terrible book rating. Don't buy it.
Yeah, not a great
Consider something else.
One suggestion for all of our parents out there, utilize your public libraries. The libraries have really great activities that they have going on, events that they have going on.
Having books around for kids is one of the best things you can do. Picking the right ones is important. That's why we have developed these temple tickling guides.
Continue to tickle the temples of your toddlers.
Until next time, bye for this time, guys.
Bye for this time, guys.